Okay, here we are back at the document you just left. This video will serve to highlight this project, which takes about 2.5 to 3 weeks to complete between the two schools. I just wanted to run over the parts we have here before I highlight the website. And so in the first part one, background, before we even mention anything about a debate, the objectives here are to build and strengthen understanding of the basic science and economics involved with fracking. We move into part two, where they start to develop their arguments for resolutions, and here they're really just identifying what are the arguments, why is fracking controversial, and who is involved. Part three is the heart of the project, really is the research. Takes the most time, where we encourage students to identify the stakeholders, solidify their understanding of positions, and investigate the science and research available to support their arguments, always relying on expert evidence. And then part four is the actual debate. It takes about 3 days. The first recordings of the open speeches are mounted in the websites, and then it's time for the opposing school to view and then respond, record, and mount on the website, and you'll see what that looks like in a second. And then part five, the debate reflection process paper, is a final conclusion based on the opponent's rebuttal. And of course, assessments. We have formatives. Each part of the project is receiving feedback along the way, and you'll see some rubrics for that as we go. And then there's also a really nice conclusion and reflection assignment that gives an overview of the entire project. And closing arguments, of course, serve as culminating assignments and are done individually by students. And here is our website. This is housed on the county's Google Apps for Education private side, so it's accessible by students and staff with a specific username and password. Everything that happens on this site is protected within the firewall of the county, so students and staff can feel free to collaborate and share in a safe and secure environment. The project really begins on this introductory info page. We understood right away that we were going to have a lot of background knowledge to build with our students, and so we provided lots of information and a couple of different activities, including some jigsaw work, some closed activities, some basic background research questions, and we also made sure that we provided lots of different types of resources with a varied range of accessible information. And through this, we started to see our students get a better understanding of what was behind fracking, what it means to create energy, and the differences in the fossil fuels that we use. And so we felt it important to spend the time to build this background information for them before they could even look at the actual topic of fracking. Focusing in on natural gas, of course, and putting it in context with everything else that's happening as far as energy production in the country. Once we were able to actually start talking about the process of fracking, we wanted to provide as much information as we could so they understood what the process was involved with, without really finding information that would lean to one side or the other as far as opinions go about fracking. And that was challenging, so we found graphics that we had to white out certain parts of and find some basic animations that would show the kids what was going on without necessarily leaning one way or the other as far as the controversies go. Students really enjoyed this part of learning about the process because it is interesting to see how you can drill a couple miles down and a couple miles over to extract natural resources. Once we felt they were secure in their background knowledge, the science of fracking, it was time for them to take sides and start doing their research for the debate. And so in the materials section of the website, we provided multiple means of ways for them to gather information. The fracking source analysis sheet here, and then beneath it more graphic organizers to start to develop different parts of their debate openings, their arguments and the rebuttals, and then there's the rebuttal, and then their closing statements. So very structured means of gathering information and planning out the debate, because we wanted them to enter the debate prepared and ready to fire back once they heard opening statements. At the bottom of the materials page here are rubrics for both opening speeches and the rebuttals, and also closing speeches. Once background research was done and source analysis complete, the graphic organizer is filled out. Students are ready to go ahead and start recording. We provided them with a series of tutorials on how to actually do that, from how do I create a movie recording of the screen and of themselves, how to upload to Google Drive, sharing privileges, how to mount the movies actually into the websites. So students had access to